What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Money Moves with Kate. I am Kate, and today we're going to talk about a secret way to find pre-foreclosures before they even get to Zillow. Now, a couple videos ago, I did a video on how to find pre-foreclosures on Zillow, but this gives you a competitive advantage to find these properties before they even hit the market. So without further ado, let's go. So I'm going to focus on South Carolina, which is a random state that I'm focusing on. And I want you to keep in mind what I'm looking for. I'm going to be looking for courthouse records, circuit court, clerk, county clerk records is where these mortgage institutions and lending institutions, they pretty much file a lis pendens, right? So a lis pendens is that initial beginning stage or the pre-foreclosure stage where they are alerting the public that this property will be up for foreclosure soon. Now, how soon? It can depend on whether the home is in a judicial state or a non-judicial state, which can vary from 30 days to 12 months. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about these states and what states you are interested in investing in, okay? So keep that in mind. But we're going to look for, so I go to Google, I put in South Carolina courthouse search, okay? After you click this or after you search, again, it's going to look different depending on what state you are located in. I just want to show you the process so you can get down to the very interesting details, okay? So these are all of the, let me scroll down. This is everything in all the counties in South Carolina, okay? I'm going to pick Sumter as an initial starting point so that I can, let me go back. Let's put in Sumter. All right, case records search. So we want to find the case records for Sumter, South Carolina, or Sumter County, okay? This pulls up. So what we have here is a lot, right? And it's very outdated, so keep that in mind. A lot of these states will be outdated, and that's fine. A lot of the counties as well. And some will be more technologically advanced. Just bear with them and really try to navigate. Just take your time. So this says search by court type. And here I'm going to click circuit court because we're looking at the circuit court records. That's typically where these lis pendens or foreclosures in general are filed. Court agency, I put all agencies. It really didn't matter. Plus, I didn't know the difference between common pleas and general sessions. I am not in the legal profession, all right? Case number, I left at 0. I have no case number, so I do not have any information. I'm just trying to find a list of pre-foreclosures without having the person's name or anything, okay? And I'll show you the loophole around having the specifics, okay? Case type, I'm going to go down to lis pendens. However, you can look up liens here as well. So mechanic liens, all type of other liens, and it just varies on the county. They may have HOA liens, etc. But for today's video, I want to look at the lis pendens. Here, all subtypes. I also picked lis pendens. Last name. Here's the kicker here. In South Carolina, when I did this the first time, I did not find a way to search this information because they require a last name. And I don't have a last name, as I mentioned earlier. So the workaround here is to put the bank or lending institution that is pretty much the plaintiff in this case, in the case of a foreclosure or pre-foreclosure. And I'm going to put in PennyMac just as an example. You can put in Bank of America. You can put in Truist. You can put in Wells Fargo. You can put in anything, any bank, put it in here because you will find a list of properties in that pre-foreclosure stage that dealt with that bank, okay? And the homeowners dealt with that bank. That's who their mortgage was through. So that's the loophole. You can also just put the letter A or B or C or D, or you could just randomly put a name like Smith or Williams or whatever name, okay? But for me, I found more success in placing the actual, because it does say business, I put the actual lender's name in here, and I found quite a bit of success doing that versus putting just a letter, okay? Because again, I don't have that information on hand. Action type. I didn't specify, so I put all actions, I do believe. Date type, I didn't put a date because I just wanted to see everything. I'm just I guess, intrigued with all the listings and the different types of properties or information that I will receive dealing with a list pendants. Map, number, don't have that. And I clicked list pendants right here. I don't know if that made a difference or not, but it did pull up quite a bit of properties. Now here you go. So these are all properties that dealt with Penny Mac and the defendant, the owner, the homeowner, in Sumter County, South Carolina. Okay. So once I scroll down, first of all, let me go to the very top. I'm not going to click on any of these because it gives more in-depth information, but this is the case number. You have the file date. This goes back as early as 2018, but it's canceled. And you got the list pendants here. All right. So what I did was I scrolled all the way down to where I saw pending. Anywhere where I saw pending, and I looked at the date, and that date was fairly soon, right? And I have some down here that is even sooner or closer to what I'm looking for, because you don't want to find a property that had a list pendants maybe 3 months ago or 4 or 5 months ago. You kind of want to, in my opinion, as far as my perspective, I like to find properties that are closer to the date that is actually today. So that November, October, things of that nature. So down here, you also have, this is, I do believe, April. That's not too far back. This is June. You have August, you have October, and you have November. These are the ones I would kind of just look at because it's earlier in that process. And that gives you as the investor an opportunity to reach out to these folks. I mentioned this in my last video. I'll link it in the description so it can give you a better idea of what I'm talking about on how to even position yourself. But you can reach out to these folks because in the pre-foreclosure process, the homeowner still can do something about it, okay? And you can help them. They're subject to as well. I didn't talk about subject to in the last video, but that's a possibility as well, which basically means that you would take over their mortgage. You say, hey, I got it. I'll take over the mortgage. You got to move out, but I'll take over the mortgage, and that mortgage remains in their name. That's the kicker. And there's some downsides to that as well. It can cause a due on sale clause, and which basically means that most of the money, if not all of the money, is due at that point. However, that's the risk that you take on, and many investors don't find that that is the case with them. But you have to look at the risk and the pros and the cons of every situation. So keep that in mind. So if you wanted to put Bank of America, if you wanted to put any other lender in here, you could do the same. Now, you might say, okay, Kay, what's the next step after I find, let's say I want to click this one down here and it says pending, and I click this one. What do I do next, Kay? What you would do next is you would it'll pull up the defendant or the owner's name. You would take the owner's name and you would put it in public records and find out the address, because from my search on this website, it didn't have the exact address to where the property was, right? So I did my Jedi mind trick, not Jedi mind trick, but I did my spying informational type, gathering information thing, my investigative work, I should say. I did my investigative work and saw that I know how to find the homeowner's name, all the information on the homeowner. I'll also attach a video in the description that allows you to understand how to reach out to the homeowner and kind of go from there. So once you reach out, then you can proceed and try to work up a deal. And this, guys, this is before it goes to Zillow. Again, before it goes to Zillow. Zillow gets this information next. Okay, so this is the first stage of that process of gathering information and telling the public that the property is up for foreclosure in the future. So that's the end of my video. I really wanted to bring this information to you guys because I look at this all the time and I didn't know if you knew how to get here or how to find pre-foreclosures before they even hit the market on Zillow, Redfin, or any other platform that sells properties, okay? In the comment section, if you made it this far in the video, just put pre-foreclosure. It allows me to know you made it this far in the video, and I truly do appreciate it. Until next time, guys, you stay blessed. Peace.